All right, folks, a family desperately seeks answers after a relative is found dead in her Connecticut apartment after meeting someone on a dating app. 23-year-old Lauren Smith-Fields. This is her right here, folks. She was found inside her Bridgeport, Connecticut apartment last month. Officials say Matthew LaFountain met her on the dating app, but it was the person who alerted the police to her death. Okay, same person. He was not detained. Okay, now here's the problem. It's bad enough that they did not consider him to be a suspect. The family says the police did not inform them that Lauren was even dead. They found out when they traveled to Bridgeport after not hearing from her, and Lauren's landlord told the family that she had passed away. Today, the family filed a notice of intent to sue the Bridgeport Police Department over the handling of this case. Folks, this has befuddled many people. Folks have been asking lots of questions on social media, and also it hasn't gotten lots of attention. The family's attorney is Darnell Crossland. He joins us right now from Bridgeport. Glad to have you on the show. First, just sort of walk us through this. So Lauren meets this white guy on a dating app. Is he from Bridgeport? Does he come from another particular city? What do y'all know about him? How old is he? Please just lay this out for us. What happened?
Yeah, thank you for having us on the show. It's a very important topic. So what we know is that this gentleman is from Stratford, Connecticut, which is about 20 minutes from Bridgeport, Connecticut. And he's about 50-something years old, as far as we know. And Lauren is 23. He allegedly meets Lauren on a dating website called Bumble. And that's a statement that he gave to the police officers. But as we sit here today, the police officers have not requested from Bumble a copy of the transcripts, if you would, between the conversations between the two of them. They have not done any of that.
Whoa. Hold up. I'm sorry. So you're telling me that the guy who calls cops, who is in the apartment, he's 50-something, she's 23. He says how they met. A month has passed, and they haven't even gotten records from the dating app company?
That's exactly what I'm saying. So due diligence will tell you that they should at least have, by this time, reached out to Bumble and said, hey, can we have some records that show that Lauren was contacting this guy, or this guy was contacting her. They have not done that. The CEO of Bumble have reached out to us, and today, as I sit here today, they confirmed that the police department in Bridgeport has not even requested anything from them, and that they're willing to give whatever's requested.
Okay, so he calls police. Is there a 911 recording? Is there any audio recording of him calling the police? Police arrive. Is there any body camera footage from the officers when they came to her apartment?
At this point, the police have refused to turn over anything to my office, and they cite that it's an ongoing investigation. So we don't have that, but we will be, as well as many people from the press, have been making FOIA requests saying that we need to have this information because the Bridgeport police have failed to prosecute this case.
Okay, so you have, okay. All right, so they don't request the information. They're not turning over information to you. Is there an active investigation? Have they even articulated that to you and the family?
Yes, so they've articulated that there's an investigation. I like the word you use, active. They seem to be everything but active. So they're just basically pacifying this family by saying that they're investigating, but they have done nothing to show that they are. For instance, the day that Lauren was found at the apartment dead, and this white man allegedly called the police, they didn't even quarantine off the area. They didn't do the normal CSI protocols. They didn't collect anything of value on that day. So I don't want to even call this an investigation. It seemed like they're doing nothing.
Okay. Do you know how long, did they bring him to the police station to interview him?
Nothing. So the
Wait. A 23-year-old, seemingly healthy woman dies in her apartment. The dude who admits they just met through an app is in the apartment. He calls the cops. They arrive. He alive. She dead. And they don't even bring him to the police station for questioning?
That's what I'm saying. I've been a fan of yours. I've been watching your show for a long time, and if you have time to second seat me on this, you can be co-counsel here, because those are the questions, and that is the sentiment. This guy has not even been called a person of interest, much less he's a suspect, and they have not even called him a person of interest. They just let him go.
What? Okay. What is the mayor saying? What are city council members saying? What is the police chief saying?
The police is the acting police chief, because the police chief is in federal prison doing a year sentence for some type of fraud related to his position, and so he's gone. And the acting police chief has said nothing. We've requested meetings with them. They have refused to meet with us. They brought us into the police department one time, and they put us in an interrogation room that was about 4 by 4, not a conference room. And it was myself, Miss Chantel, the mother, the two brothers, and the family advocate, squeezed into a small little room. And I've been in that room many times with clients of mine who've been accused of murder. It's the same interrogation room they put us in. So they've shown no respect at all for this family or this process. And Gabby Petito got way more of attention and way more of a process as a white woman than we've gotten at all.
I'm gonna bring my panel here. I'm sure they have some questions, and so let me do that right now. First of all, Michael Imhotep, African History Network, he joins us. Certainly glad to have you, Kelly Bethea, communication strategist, Matt Manning, civil rights attorney. Matt, I'll start with you. You get to ask the first question from the panel.
The question I have for you, brother, is what has the police department said in their explanation as to why they don't take somebody who's on the scene into custody? Did they take any kind of preliminary statements there at all?
Yeah. There's an incident report that the gentleman gave. And I have a copy of that. And in that incident report, for instance, it says that the gentleman said that he did not have sex with her. He did not take his clothes off. They slept with their clothes on. Yet still, we find a condom with semen in the bathroom. We find lubricant. We find a pill that's used as a sedative on the kitchen counter. These are what they call physical evidence. This is physical evidence. So in my 17 years of practice, what you normally do is take that physical evidence and compare it with the statement that this gentleman made. And then you see if it matches. So if there's a used condom with semen in it, that's an unknown. You compare that with the DNA of a known, which will be the gentleman. Take his DNA and compare it with the unknown, which is the semen in the condom. They didn't do that. They didn't even collect it. So 2 weeks after.
Wait, hold up. You just said we discovered a used condom. Y'all did, and not the cops?
Exactly. Exactly.
Wait a minute. Which says that. So, do you have? Okay, I'm sorry. I've covered many cases. Is there an evidence report? Have they even said what we collected?
Nope. It was so bad.
Wow.
Tell them what to take.
Okay, I don't think people watching. I don't think the people who are watching and listening really understand what we just heard. Mm-hmm. So now here's the problem. Because they did not collect the evidence, y'all did. You now have a chain of custody issue.
There you go. There you go. There you go. And I keep saying It's like in the OJ case when Van Natta rode around with the vial of blood from Rockingham for days and weeks. Johnny Cochran raised that same issue. Why was he riding around with the blood? It should have been taken directly to the laboratory. Same thing here. They collected nothing, and when they finally collected it on December 29th, when we made them collect it, on January 5th, I called a forensic laboratory in Meriden, Connecticut, which I've dealt with a lot of murder cases myself, and they said, they looked up the case number and said, the Bridgeport Police Department hasn't sent anything here. They said, is this the case about the young lady who died in Bridgeport? I said, yes. How did you know that? We saw it on the news. And they said, let's double check. They double checked. They said, nope, no submissions made by the Bridgeport Police Department. So where is the condom? Where is the lube? Where is the pill? It's like they just threw it out the window.
Has the medical examiner given a preliminary report on her cause of death at this point? I know y'all are getting an independent autopsy, but I mean, presumably there would be an arrest warrant issued if there's anything corroborative of foul play that could have been related to this guy. Has the medical examiner said anything to that respect?
As of today, the Washington Post called up to the lab and was told that they're still reviewing and they don't have anything else to add at this point.
Wait a minute. An autopsy?
Yes.
A month later?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. They said it'll be 60 more. They said it'll be 30 more days before they would be done with it.
No, normal. Okay. Again, I've covered a lot of stuff. You typically can have it. You can have a preliminary autopsy report in 24, 48 hours, max 72 hours. Then what they typically say is they send the tissue samples off for toxicology reports, and that comes in later. Normally, you have a preliminary ruling as to the cause of death.
Yes.
Kelly, your question.
I mean, I'm just shaking my head along with everybody here because I really have no words for just the lack of protocol, lack of respect, lack of just competence from this police department. I have 1.5 questions rather. Is there, regarding the suspect himself, is there any evidence of political connections, personal connections of the suspect with the police department in that jurisdiction? And secondly, the larger issue being, is there a history? I'm sure most, if not all jurisdictions, police jurisdictions have a history of racism and botched cases. But do you have an idea of just how pervasive the racism is in this jurisdiction? Is this a pattern, or is this something that is truly unheard of in Bridgeport?
Good question. And I can tell you that I'm from the Bronx, New York, and I've been practicing here for 17 years. And from the moment I started practicing here and standing up and giving voice to the people, I've been told they're going to come after you. And just like Martin Luther King's letter from the Birmingham jail, I was working on a bunch of cases here, and the prosecutor's office locally came up with some charges against me. And now that same prosecutor is being investigated for fraud. And he's the prosecutor for the entire state. So that's the entire state of Connecticut. So his name is Richard Colangelo. And this guy's been just a really bad character for a very long time. And so when you break it down to the local jurisdiction, which is Bridgeport, we have the mayor now who did 5 years in federal prison. Now the chief of police, who he appointed, is in federal prison now. He's been sentenced to 1 year. And so it just keeps going, right? And they want to silence anyone who speaks up. The prosecutor who runs the whole state has told people publicly that Darnell has a big mouth and we need to shut him up. So that's what you get. Now, in terms of this gentleman, to answer your question specifically with him, since this case has gone national, there's been thousands of people reporting, making comments on social media that this gentleman and the Bridgeport Police Department are one and the same, that his family has always gotten away with basically murder in that jurisdiction. And a couple people have come forward now to say that they have been on dates with him and he has a pattern of behavior. And so we're collecting all that with a private investigator, and we're going to really break this case in a direction that hasn't been broken yet, because we do believe he's connected. And I'll add this last part to that. When you look at the chain of events, the landlord said that he got a knock on the door around 3 or 4 in the morning. and he thought it was the police, but he didn't open. And we believe that that was the responding detective, Detective Cronin. And he left the scene. And then around 7:30 or 6:30, this gentleman calls 911. So what we believe is that when he found out that Lauren was dead, he called his buddy, Detective Cronin, and said, "Hey, come to the scene." Detective Cronin came, tried to help things out. The landlord didn't open. He left and then told this guy, I want you now to call 911. So now he's been taken off the case, and now he's being investigated by Internal Affairs. And so they wouldn't be investigating him if there wasn't smoke there, if there wasn't fire there. So to answer your question, we do believe he has a strong connection with the Bridgeport Police Department, and the corruption is rampant.
Michael, go ahead.
All right. Attorney Crosland, thanks for coming on today. This is a crazy, crazy case. Just quickly, a couple questions. So with the landlord, this is an apartment building, my understanding. And oftentimes with apartment buildings, they have records on the tenants and their contact numbers for the tenants in case of emergency. Was that the case here with Lauren Smith Fields? Was there contact information on record with the whoever owned the apartment building or the property management company? And then also, is there any talk about, I may have missed it, the state taking over this investigation, the state of Connecticut taking over this investigation?
Well, those are great questions, and I'll start with the first part. The landlord's name is Hector. And he does have that information. We found out from Internal Affairs that Bridgeport has a protocol that said whenever there's a death, the next of kin must be notified within 24 hours in person,
right,
not by phone. If they can't be notified by phone, in person, then they could be notified by phone. In this particular case, they just moved Lauren's body, sent her to the coroner, and the family didn't find out till almost 2 days later, after calling Lauren, and nobody responding. In terms of the state's attorney's office, as I stated, Richard Colangelo, who's the head prosecutor, is currently being investigated for fraud. And so the family doesn't feel that they can rely on that gentleman to bring any justice. So we're asking for DOJ or for an outside agency to come in.
Thank you.
That's it's unbelievable. The Bridgeport Police did release this statement. They said that on December 12, 2021, the Bridgeport Emergency Operations Center received a call for service regarding an untimely death. Upon police arrival, it was found that Ms. Lauren Smith Fields passed away unexpectedly. This incident is currently being investigated by the Bridgeport Police Department's Detective Bureau. This investigation remains open and active. The Detective Bureau is awaiting the final report from the Chief Medical Examiner's Office for cause and manner of death of Ms. Smith Fields. The Bridgeport Police Department offers its sincerest condolences to the family and friends of Ms. Lauren Smith Fields. We encourage anyone with information regarding this incident to contact either Detective Sergeant Joseph Morales at 203-581-5219 or the Bridgeport Police Tips Line 203-576-8477. But attorney, I'm sorry, you want people with any information. There's only one person who was in the apartment when she died. Really?
And they want to take the DNA of my client's mother. After 2 weeks of leaving the scene unquarantined, they allowed the family to start moving the stuff, start putting her stuff in storage, Lauren's stuff that is, and never gave any advisory like don't come in but they let them just move stuff. And then after that say, oh, by the way, we're gonna need to get your DNA because you guys were in the crime scene. And they said, well, you guys didn't tell us that we couldn't move this stuff. And so they're deliberately creating a situation, Roland, as you said, a chain of custody situation, a tampered space situation. They directly have created this. They've created this. And I just want to let you know, about 20 minutes before I got on your show, another family came in my office here, and their daughter was found dead in a gentleman's house the same exact day as Lauren, the same exact day. And they've gone to the Bridgeport Police Department seeking whether someone to investigate. Nothing's happened. They've been treated rudely, a black family as well, rudely and with total disregard. And like I said, they just left here, and they're seeking justice as well. So they're going to be at the march, which we're having a march for Lauren on Sunday, which is her birthday, and this family's going to be there as well. So as we see, is not just isolated to Lauren's family, but other families as well who are not getting any justice.
Unbelievable. Let us know. If anyone anyone's going to be live streaming that. What we'll do is we'll carry it on our platforms in the Black Star Network, and so we can certainly coordinate it with our tech folks because we got to get answers to what the heck happened. And again, for people who don't understand these cases, basically the actions of these police officers, they have just basically gutted any possibility of the district attorney being able to have any evidence tying him. If you ain't got evidence, guess what? You're screwed. You're screwed. This is unbelievable here. Darnell Crossland, go ahead.
If they could, if the family or your viewers could follow us at Twitter at Darnell Crossland. That's one S. I noticed your tagline had two S's on my name.
So DARNELLCROSLAND. That's the Twitter handle.
That's a Twitter handle and Instagram as well. And so we will live stream it. I will speak with your executive producer, who has been very generous to us, and I'll give her the link to the live stream. Okay. All right. We certainly appreciate it. Thanks a lot, and certainly give our regards to Lauren's family. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Thanks a bunch.
All right, folks, back to that Roland Martin Unfiltered video in just one moment.
Folks, Black Star Network is here.
Hold no punches.
I'm real revolutionary right now.
Support this man, Black Media. He makes sure that our stories are told.
Thank you for being the voice of Black America, Roland.
Stay black. I love y'all.
All momentum we have now, we have to keep this going.
The video looks phenomenal.
See, this difference between Black Star Network and Black-owned media and something like CNN.
You can't be Black-owned media and be scared.
It's time to be smart.
Bring your eyeballs home.
You dig?